What's up, guys? We're going to talk about the upcoming Big Bass Bash. I'm going to try and get this in before it gets dark so you guys can still see the baits and stuff like that. But if you're coming down, you haven't been to the lake for a while, I'll kind of go over a little bit of the conditions here on the lower end. I'm right by the dam. You can probably see it in the background here. The water temperature is still hanging out 78, 79 degrees. This is Monday right now when I'm filming this, and today was mid 70s, and I believe it's 70s the rest of the week. But the biggest thing to pay attention to is the overnight lows, which are in the mid to upper 40s each night. So that is what we need to get this lake trending the direction we want as far as water temperature goes, trying to get some of these fish kind of in the movement of fall. So maybe by Friday or Saturday morning, the water temperature will be down into the mid 70s at best, I would say. I can't foresee it going too much lower than that. Just because we're still getting pretty warm during the day, and I think tomorrow or Wednesday is supposed to be like 77, closer to 80 degrees, so that's going to help elevate it a little bit, but at least we're getting those cool nights that are cooling things off. So you have shad and stuff that are moving to the backs of the creeks. They're making the push. You have bass that are kind of seem like they're wanting to make a push in there a little bit. You have the fish that have been in there all summer, basically feeding on bluegill and stuff, that are just around docks. But we really need that water temperature to kind of cool off to really get the lake kick-started, I think. I haven't really seen too many big gizzard shad up on the banks, but I can't imagine it's going to be very long before they start showing up, and things can change really quick. Maybe just 2 cool nights in a row or something, and that might be enough to kind of get the gizzard shad to start popping up on some of these banks. Maybe they're already showing up on the river end of the lake or up some of the creeks and stuff. Just up here on the lower end by the dam, I haven't really seen a bunch of them. I've seen decent schools of shad pushed back into the creeks towards the back or halfway back, but I haven't seen just the big gizzard shad or a massive amount of bait migrating back. But I can tell there's a push. I think that water temperature needs to come down a little bit for that to really go wide open. You have good water clarity up here on the lower end. I'd say 3 to 4 foot visibility out on the main lake. If you do go further back in some of the creeks, maybe a little bit dingier, I guess, in some areas, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent. If you want some dirtier water, either run up the river or back down into the glaze. I have not run all the way up into the Gravois to check and see what the water clarity is there. But I'm guessing in the backs, it's at least probably a little bit dingier than it is out here. Now, as far as fishing has been going, it's been so-so. It's actually been pretty tough as far as getting the bigger bites, except for tonight. I had a pretty good thing going and got 3 keeper fish really quick, one of them being a 5-pounder. For reference, you had the BFL this past weekend, and I believe it took 35 pounds over 2 days to win. The first day, I think the big bag was just over 18 pounds, and the second day it was like 19 pounds. So there's still quality fish to be caught, but you have to be working for them. They're not like just crazy big fish. I think on day 1 out of 171 or 181 boats, can't remember how many fished it, big bass was only 5 pounds 1 ounce. So that's a good fish, but there's a lot of that quality of fish in Lake the Ozarks, but they were just, I guess weren't really willing to bite. And then on day 2, I don't know what the big fish was. I know the winner had one that was, I think, over 6 pounds. As far as baits and stuff go, I've been throwing jig. I know it's probably getting hard to see, just a green pumpkin brown jig tipped with like a Zoom Z craw or Reaction Innovation beaver. Been throwing shaky heads, various colors. This is black Magnum trick worm. You can throw 6 cents. There's so many different shaky head worms. I don't know if the brand really matters or if the color matters. It's something natural is what I like. Green pumpkin, black. You can throw black and blue, things of that. And then I've also been pitching around like a Zoom brush hog around docks. That's been a good follow-up type thing. And I've been either pitching it in there around docks and letting it hit the bottom and giving it a hop or 2 and moving on, or sometimes swim it and see if that gets you any other bites. It kind of seems like it depends on the day a little bit, or maybe throw it in there and hop it, don't get any bites, skip it in there again or put it in there again, and then swim it out and see, and just kind of experiment that throughout the day. Sometimes I would hop it in and not get anything, and then I would swim it out and I would get one, or I would at least get one to follow, and then I could maybe put another bait in there and get that fish to bite. And then this evening I started testing out some stuff with top water. Pretty much just threw a Whopper Plopper, a black one, and that did really well for me. So the top water is coming to life. Gonna keep getting better and better. I tested stuff in the shade, I tested stuff in the sun, and I was getting bit all the way around. So I think that is a sign that the gizzard shad or the shad are pushing up onto the banks on the specific type of kind of chunk rock or like the tabletop style rock. That's always just a solid fall bite. and that's, I think, starting to come to life. Also been throwing some spinner baits, been picking up some fish on that. This is just kind of like a shad colored one. Pick your variation of size, blades, combo, whatever you want to do. But to me, I've been having to idle around and find shad. If I'm near shad, I'm getting a lot more bites. If I'm halfway back and I don't see any shad, it like seems like I can still get bites, but not as good. You can go to the back and get bites, but it seems like they're more far and few between. But if you do catch one, probably going to be a decent one. And then out here on the main lakes, been getting bites too, and they've been mixed in size. So just going to be a true junk fishing type tournament. You're going to have plenty of brush piles and stuff in place still out on the main lake, secondary points in the back, around docks, dragging worms through them, whether it's a shaky head or a curly tail. The water temperature is going to be at this mark where literally anything is in play. So I would say fish your strengths, do what you think you're most confident in, and keep your bait wet and keep moving. That's the biggest thing too. These fish are going to get really, really pressured after day one, and sometimes you got to swap it up a little bit on day two, or be more persistent about taking the time to pick something apart and get your bait into harder to reach places than maybe you were on day one, or just really hunkering down kind of on not a spot but an area and thoroughly working that on day two. I don't know how many people are fishing it, but it's usually like 2,000 people. So that's kind of what's happening here on Lake the Ozarks right now, at least up on the lower end. Fishing is going to get better. The fall bite is going to continue to get stronger with just a little bit cooler weather and get this water temperature down a little bit. The days are getting shorter for sure, so that's just the biggest signal to me, to the fish, that it's time to start moving. The shad are moving, they're going to start following a little bit, and it just kind of gets the whole fall feeding going. Good luck to everybody out there. I plan on fishing it as long as I don't get called out of town for some work, but hopefully this video can help put some stuff together for you, or give you a little insight of what you want to do, maybe help you catch that $100,000 fish, or at least cash some big checks. So thanks for watching, guys.